think that I just recorded nothing at all, which is fine because it's part of the learning process, and getting more comfortable in front of the camera myself, which I'm not. That's why I'm a photographer rather than a model, and many other reasons. By recording many times and getting familiar with the process, hopefully I'll be creating some nice blogs for you guys. Not a writer, I'm a photographer, and so there hasn't been a lot of communication since I opened my studio. As you can see, I'm a pregnancy newborn photographer. I also do some of these body casts up here I'm going to show you. You can see that right above the door, which is a really fun experience. That happens right in the studio. Takes about an hour and a half. It's pretty comfortable. You just sit, you're a passive captive, and in the end you end up with a really beautiful piece that, as you can see, can be used as a wall sculpture. I also do just belly casts, and I'm going to go grab one. I'll bring it right back. Okay, I'm back. These are partial belly casts, which, you know, maybe not necessarily so much of an art piece as the full cast up above, but what is nice is when you turn it over, look at that there. We have these beautiful little cradle that you bring back, and maybe we'll put some nice little fabrics on the inside and pose your little baby on the inside of the belly cast, and it makes a gorgeous photo. And, you know, just kind of gives you a visual idea of just how your baby was nestled inside before they came out to greet you. And yeah, I love this piece here. Kind of reminds me of a robin's egg, and that's why I chose the color that I did. Anyway, so I do those in addition to the newborn pregnancy photographs. So what is different about my service that you get from me and you don't necessarily get from many of the other photographers? Let's face it, there's a lot of photographers in the area, probably just because it's a really wonderful thing to be a part of. You know, I make a point of making sure that my clients have full products in hand when they're done with their service with me. I know that it's very popular right now to go out and do a quick photo shoot, offer you a disc with multiple images on it, and that then as a client, or as a client, in the end, it's up to you to decide where you're going to get your products from, whether or not you're going to create products. Is it going to remain on your disk, something that you just download onto your computer and, you know, enjoy when you're sitting at your desk? Those choices are left up to you, but, you know, my concern, for my clients at least, is that those images never go any further than the disk or the thumb drive in the drawer, or if they're on the computer, they're lost because a computer gets frozen, broken down, ages out of, you know, usefulness, and that's the last place that you would want your family history to be, is somewhere stuck inside a computer, a hard drive. The other being that, let's face it, from, you know, VCRs to beta to, well, some of you might not know what that is anymore, to floppy disks. Technology changes all of the time, and I have VCR tapes that I've never moved over to a more current method of, you know, or a more current digital resource, which means I have videos from my children's childhood that I can no longer view, and life gets busy. You don't ever get those things changed around, and it's kind of sad to lose a piece of history when technology changes. So how am I different? I'm a boutique product photographer. When you come in, I handle things from the very beginning to the very end, where you have products in your hand. My albums are created by a lab professional lab in Italy. Gorgeous products, they're hand created. And I selected different labs that I work with based on the products that I've gotten back from them. And if at some point I do receive a product that I'm not 100% satisfied with, then it's on me. I take the responsibility myself to make sure that I get that situation resolved, and that you have nothing but the best in professional product when all is said and done. So I do albums. I have image boxes that have matted photographs contained within them. I have wall art that, again, the colors are perfected on them. The lab that I work with, again, a professional lab, there's a coordinated process that takes place between my studio and the lab. So my monitor is color calibrated, which means that the colors that I'm seeing on my screen when I'm working on them are true to the colors that were there in the studio when I was taking the images. And so then I can make any kind of edits or adjustments and know that is going to be accurate in the end. There's not going to be some stray away from, yellows are going to be yellows and reds, etc. So I do the color calibration, and on top of that I also coordinate my colors with the lab's printer. So that's important. When I'm looking at a particular yellow, that's the yellow that's being printed by the lab's the printer. That's not something that a client has control over. If I were to give them a thumb drive or a digital download or a CD, my client would be left with trying to find a lab and hope that the colors that come out on their images match what they see on their monitor, and the likelihood of that happening is actually fairly slim. I have labs that I've worked with that images come back and I just know something is not right here. And so then I have had to go back to those labs and try to get those colors corrected. And I've had labs that I've stopped working with for that very particular reason. So the product that I give to you in the end has been edited, it's been color corrected, it's been on a monitor that's been calibrated, it's been matched up to the printer at the lab, and in the end what comes back, the product that goes to you is on heirloom quality products that will hold their color, and they're a beautiful quality product, which is exactly what I want you to have. I want you to walk into your home and be greeted by your family members, and I want you to enjoy those images, not just for your family now, but for your children, for your grandchildren. How many of us look at images from our prior generations and really appreciate those? So that is on the product side. That is how my services are very different. On the actual service side, I do not book any other session for the day other than your session. And there's a reason for that. I don't want to have my client feeling stressed that they're taking too much time. They're just not quite there when they walk in the door. They're not quite feeling like themselves or meeting somebody new. They're in a new space. I know how I feel having my photographs taken. I'm not a comfortable person in front of the camera. And I think that it takes time. It takes time to develop that trust between the two of us and to get to know them and to allow them to get to know me, because having some familiarity will allow them to relax more. It doesn't matter if, it's going to take 5 hours. It doesn't matter if it only took 2 hours. Really, what is ultimately our goal is to get those images that really represent you, that allow you to look back on an amazing time in your life and get a genuine sense of, you know, where you were, who you were emotionally at that time, and just appreciate that. I think that if you come in and you feel stiff and you feel awkward and you feel posed, that you're just not going to get that. And I want you to have an opportunity to really be reflected in the images that are taken. So a lot of the time that we're here, we're hanging out on the couch together, we're having, you know, a hot cup of tea or coffee, or, you know, a cool beverage, a little snack, making sure that you feel comfortable. If you need a break in the middle, then you take a break. If you want to change into something else, you know, so that there's a variety of looks and images, we can do that too. It really is about you and representing you, making sure you have a positive experience. And I don't know that that's something that happens with a lot of other photographers, perhaps. I can only speak for myself and the experience that I want you to have while you're in my studio. So that's what I want you to know for now. And I'm EGHarrop Photography, and I am conveniently located across from Washington Square in Tigard, just off 217, Highway 217, and would love to get an opportunity to know you and to work with you to create those images that, again, are going to last you beyond just your lifetime, and that are going to just give you pure joy. So have yourself a great day. Bye.